Hey everybody, I'm Belinda Sandor, also known as Rocket Girl. Today we're going to talk about how to avoid working from home distractions. Hey everybody, I'm Belinda Sandor, also known as Rocket Girl. Today we're going to talk about those pesky distractions that happen when we're at home. And we're also going to talk about how to solve them so that you can get work done from home. All right. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, like I said, I'm Belinda Sandor. I'm the founder of the VA Connection, where I coach and mentor established and aspiring virtual assistants to create, grow, and scale their VA businesses. And I work with my students in my free online community, my courses, and my coaching programs. And today I'm your host for the RocketGirl Show. I'm thrilled that you're here. This is a live stream show that airs every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. And each episode is packed with useful information about what it takes to be a successful virtual assistant. So I hope you'll get it on your calendar and you'll join me live every Thursday. I'd love to hear where you're coming in from. So let me know that in the chat. And we are streaming live everywhere. We are all over Facebook. We are on Twitter. We are on, which I need to start calling X. We are on LinkedIn and we're on YouTube. And if you're watching us from YouTube, I can see some of you are. If you would click the subscribe button and ring that bell so that you'll be notified each time we do a free training. Okay. And we do have at least 2 free trainings a week. There are some weeks when we have a free training every day. And I've got some ideas in store for you coming up in December. So you don't want to miss anything. All right. So today we're going to talk about avoiding homework distractions. And it's funny because, for all of us, when we first start out, we worry about what the clients are going to say. We, what they're going to want us to do. We worry about the tools that we're going to need. We worry about how much to charge, and we have a very long list of what ifs. What if this, what if that, right? All of us have that. I get that. But what we don't address, and that's so interesting to me, is we don't address the very real issue of not actually getting to work on our business. Right? Because we put it off, we don't hold ourselves accountable. We think we'll do it tomorrow or after the holidays, or once things, settle down. But life is always happening around us. And there is no ideal time to work on your business. All right. And it's never convenient. And it's even worse when it's uncomfortable, right? When there's something you need to do that's uncomfortable, it's easy to put it off. So I've developed some tools that I use to keep myself in the game and on track, because really there are distractions everywhere, right? Some of us have children, we have pets, we have parents who are, sick or in the hospital, or, there's the car breaks, there's a million things. So the key to having a successful virtual assistant business is knowing how to navigate those things, how to take care of what we need to take care of, and work on our business at the same time. All right. So let me teach you some ways to do that. All right, good. So I refer to this as settling down. And when I had to get really good at this was when I first met my husband. He lived 164 miles away, and I would go down on the weekends to where I live now. And the thing was that he had a job. He commuted into New York. He had no flexibility, and I had a ton of flexibility. So I would come down. But what would happen is I would leave very early on Monday morning, early for me, on Monday morning, and I would get back to Boston at about, 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. And I needed to just drop and roll. I had billable hours. I had clients depending on me, but I was so in the headset of what a great time I had. And Connecticut was so much fun. And we did this, and I'm falling in love, and, all that stuff. Right. And I have a child and an apartment and all the things. So I noticed where I was struggling, and I noticed how I could get myself sort of into the zone so that I could get really laser focused on the things that were important. Okay. So the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to examine your environment. Okay. I want you to examine your environment. And what I mean by that is, so I am in an office. I'm in a bedroom in our home, and I can only see what's in here. Now, when I lived in my apartment in Boston, I could see the kitchen. I could see my bed. I could see the living room. I was working in the dining room. It was a very small apartment. I could see everything. So every time I saw my bed was unmade, I would think, oh, I should make my bed. When I saw the dishes, I would say, oh, things were like talking to me. So what I would do every morning before I started work was I would quiet my environment. I would make my bed or close my bedroom door. I would put the dishes in the sink so I couldn't see them. I'd fluff the pillows, on the couch so that I could quiet down my environment. Maybe I would move something off my desk, but it's important to pay attention to the environmental cues that are calling you. So definitely start with your environment. All right. The second thing you need to do is adjust your mindset. All right. Because that is the killer. That is really the killer for a lot of us, because we tell ourselves that we have to do certain things, and it's just not true. What we're really doing is, it's always been done a certain way, so we don't stop and look at it. So, for example, this is a really simple one, but I'm telling you, it probably saves me, I don't know, hours a week. I used to do my laundry every Saturday morning. Now I do my laundry when I run out of something. Now, not after I run out of it, but when I can see when I'm approaching the end of the socks or, whatever it is. And that's when I do my laundry. So I probably do my laundry every 10 or 14 days, and unless I'm going somewhere or need something special, I have enough clothes that I can manage that. So just think about the time and the effort and the energy that I save by probably cutting down my laundry from 52 times a year to 25 times a year. And I know that might be silly, but if you think about it just in terms of efficiency and, and being raised, you do your laundry on Saturday or, whatever the habits are in your family, look at that. And so even though that doesn't seem like it's a mindset thing, it really is. And also think about in terms of when you're overwhelmed or you need to settle down or you need to get in the right space, really think about what you're saying to yourself. And here's what I mean by that is I could walk around saying, I'm really busy, I'm overwhelmed, I have so much to do, blah, blah. Like I could really hype myself up about that. Or I could say to myself, just relax, you've got this, you always figure it out. Let's just do one thing at a time, and what can we take off the calendar? What can we move to next week? What's not mission critical, and really just kind of calm yourself down. And this is all happening in my mind. The world around me has not changed, but the way I look at it has changed. I do this every single day. If my calendar was packed today and I said, you know what, I'm not going to get to that. That can wait till tomorrow. This can wait till Saturday. And it's a way to manage the amount that I want to get done. Now, the key to this whole thing is to do one thing at a time. And I know that a lot of us are multitasking geniuses. I get that. But when you are working on your business or your client's business, especially, well, that's the thing. You would probably not multitask working on your client work. However, when you're working on your own business, you'll do it in a heartbeat, right? You'll be all over the place. So what I found is that in my own business, I look at all the things on my list and I pick the thing that's going to move the needle. And what I mean by move the needle is not the thing that's going to calm my brain down, like, oh, I'll be much happier when my Dropbox is organized. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is, doing a newsletter, setting up your debit card system, getting your website up, things that will move the needle, going to a networking event, meeting somebody new. Those are the kinds of things that I'm talking about. So you really want to pick one thing at a time. And here's the other thing. I'll give you an example. So the RocketGirl Show, we're on the RocketGirl Show right now. When I first started doing it 4 years ago, it was a really big deal, right? I was like, how do I use the software? I don't know what to do. I'd never been live on video before. I was completely flipping out. I had to create the slides and the script and all the things. And it was like this gargantuan thing. And I used to do it twice a week. And what I learned is, because I focused on one thing, how do we do the RocketGirl Show? And I made checklists and systems. It's super simple now. We have a whole system of where we keep the slides and where we keep the replays and how it gets uploaded, and each episode has a number, and how we organize it in Facebook. That couldn't have happened unless I just sat down and said, okay, what are we doing? And really focusing on what needs to happen. And then what happens is, you stretch, right? Okay, so this is a system, this is running itself, or I know what I need to do every week to make this work. And then you can pick another improvement to your business. So I want you to just do one thing at a time. And the way I think of it is, I'm living my life, right? I'm having lunch, I'm going for walks, I'm doing client work, I'm doing all the things, and I'm improving one thing. Right, one thing, and I know this is difficult. I do, and I'm in the middle of it right now. So I really do, because I've got all these ideas of all these things that I want to do, but I'm going to finish one of them, completely, using my whole brain, and it's very satisfying when we do that. Okay. Now the other thing that I do is I make a deal with myself, and what I mean by that is, so for example, this is what I've been working on. So this is so far a 19-page freebie on how to network as a virtual assistant. Writing is not my natural thing. I don't sit down and say, yay, I'm going to write 19 pages. It's more like, okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to pull it off? And I've been working on it for about 3 weeks. And the thing is that once I start it, it gets easier. When I'm first starting it, it's painful. It's painful. And so what I do is I say to myself, I sit down and I say, you're going to work on this for until noon. And after it's noon, you can get up and do whatever you want. But the thing is that when I don't say to myself, you're going to do this for 2 hours, this is all you're going to do, I will get up every 5 minutes. I'll be down in the basement. I'll be saying hi to Greg. I'll be calling people on the phone. You got to be deliberate. You have to make a deal with yourself and say, okay, that's what I'm doing. And then what happens with every project is you reach a point where you're tweaking, you're just, you're figuring it out. And it becomes very satisfying, to especially for a lot of us are like perfectionist control freaks like we are, right? That's okay. But the thing is that you reach a point where you can see the project, whatever it is, coming together, and you're proud of it, and it's going to change your business, and it's going to be helpful for people, and all those things. So once you get that feeling a couple of times, you'll be addicted to it, like, oh, this is really great. So make a deal with yourself. And here's the other part. And a lot of times people will say to me, I'll say in VA school, I'll say, what's the deadline? And they're like, oh, you have to set deadlines. You have to. Now, in the case of writing this freebie, I completely underestimated how much time it was going to take. So I missed the deadline. I didn't stop working on it, but the deadline got moved. So realistically, I decided to make the freebie longer. I decided that I wanted to have someone on my team, Mark, format it for me. I was going to format it, and I decided that I can't. It's not my area. I decided the page where you opt in for it, I decided to take it next level, and I'm going to do a video today inviting people to download it. So I definitely missed the deadline, which was last Monday, or this Monday, right? Monday. It's now Thursday, but the project has moved so far along, and it's so satisfying because I did one thing at a time, and I keep the deadline in front of me. I keep the deadline in front of me. So it's not about being perfect. It's not about, beating myself up when I met the deadline, when I missed the deadline. It was more about, okay, so you've leaned into this. You've put the time in. You're definitely making progress. It's taking a little longer than you thought. So what's the new deadline based on what you know? And for me, the plan is tomorrow night before I close up shop. Now I'm relying on other people as well, so I don't know if that's going to happen, but my part will be handled by then. So really set deadlines. Every day I have a list of things I'm going to do, no kidding, before I go to bed. I set the priorities, 1 or 2 a day. In the case of this right now, this is the only priority that I'm working on. And that means that other things have to wait. Sometimes they have to wait 3 days or a week. Things that are important, they're definitely important, but they're not the priority right now, because it's easy to take our time and dilute it, so that, we're just all over the place, and also think about when you do things. There are times when my brain is done, and that's when I water the plants, and that's when I get on the treadmill, and that's when I, do things, and I do them in phases. I've been moving the plants. I have a lot of plants, and they're outside for the summer down by the chicken coop, and then I bring them in, and it's taken me 2 weeks to bring the plants upstairs, and they're still not completely situated, but I made more progress this morning. There was this one plant that because they all need help to get settled in for the winter. But now I've got them all in one place. And yes, is 2 weeks an unreasonable amount of time to do that? Yes and no. I could have taken a whole Saturday, or I could have gone away for the Thanksgiving weekend and been with my daughter and my family, right? Or I could have done the plants, and I could have put on hold this 19-page or 18-page report. So it's really about priorities. The plants were fine. Nobody died. And then this weekend, it's time for the plants, and I'm looking forward to trimming and snipping and organizing them under the grow light and getting ready for the winter. So think about what you're holding yourself accountable to, right? And what you're, how you're organizing your day, how you are talking to yourself, what you're saying to yourself, and decide what's important. Decide what's important. And if you're multitasking, I want you to knock it off. That doesn't mean you can't be in process with multiple things at once. I'm here at the RocketGirl Show, and as soon as we're finished here, I'm jumping back to finishing up the next phase of the freebie. And then I have other things on my calendar, but I'm definitely not cleaning out the refrigerator, during my work time, because there's, nothing in there that is urgent. Okay. So just think about that, and the standards that you hold yourself to when it comes to your business, and make some adjustments, that will serve you. I was raised that the house is always in really good, is in good shape, and that things are organized and clean. And when we would go on vacation, like you would leave the house spotless. So when you came home, it would be spotless. I don't think my house has been spotless. Oh, about 4 years, maybe longer, since my house has been spotless. But I'll tell you what, I would much rather go for a bike ride with Greg, or dive into something, in my business, or spend some time with Emily, or, a million things, than have a perfect kitchen. And I think that that just feels like a life well lived. And that was a huge mindset shift that I had to make. That it's okay if things are not perfect in my home. I'm living here, right? I'm living here, and this is where I create things, and where I have fun, and so if you can adjust your mindset that way, I think you're going to be a much happier human and more productive in the long term. All right. So thank you, everybody, for coming. I'm really excited to be here with you. Some of you are new. I can see some of your names, which is very exciting. I want to make sure that you are part of our online community. It's called the VA Connection. So if you're not, go over to Facebook and type the VA Connection at the top and jump into our Facebook group. Click the join button, and I'd be happy to let you into our community. And also, if you're looking for more, check out our YouTube channel. We have about 1,000 videos, and my team and I are bringing it next level. You'll see a bunch of RocketGirl shows there. We are rebranding. We're figuring out a bunch of ways to keep the work organized. And right now, there are recently we just added 6 15 or 20-minute mindset sessions that you'll see right on the YouTube page. So check those out. They're really not to be missed. I think, mindset is 80% of what's going on, and the 20% is the strategy and the execution. So definitely check out those mindset sessions. I think they'll be a treat. All right, everybody. I'm Belinda Sandor, Rocket Girl, signing off for now. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.